Welcome to Pro Practice, your guide to piano mastery. I'm Josh Wright, and today's episode is based on the third movement of Mozart Sonata in F major K332. Many members of Pro Practice have been asking for more tutorials on the music of Mozart. Before we get started with today's tutorial, I will just play a few lines in case you're not familiar with this piece. Okay, and then we start the transition there. This is in sonata form. So the part we just heard was that first theme. You'll have to forgive any mistakes I make during this tutorial. I have not played this for probably 12 years. I've spent the last couple days just dusting off some of the cobwebs, so I didn't look like a complete fool. But I'm working on a bunch of other really hard repertoire for a program I'm performing, and I still try to make as many of these Pro Practice tutorials as I can, given the time constraints of my own program. So I'll do my best, basically, is what I'm saying. I did play this a lot when I was younger, and I had some great instruction. So I'm really, I've had great instruction from a lot of great professors on this. So I'm really excited to share as much of that with each of you as possible. We're going to be going over technical tips, ways to reduce tension in the hand. We'll be going over a lot about touch and interpretation and expression, voicing, and then stylistic elements that can help you play this in a more traditional style, so you're not making silly mistakes with the appoggiaturas or things like that. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to talk about this first line right off the bat because so many students that I've taught this to tighten up, and it's easy, even as I was, just bringing this back for this tutorial, it's easy to isolate the fingers and then feel tight and maybe not get the clarity. I've heard students do that before. I want to talk about a few of the things that I like to focus on when I'm playing this. First of all, you do need activity at the fingertip level, because that is your point of contact with the piano. Having said that, there are a few things that you can do additionally to practicing, like finger staccato or high fingers or rhythms or... You can practice all of those ways. Those are all very helpful. But if you understand the ergonomics of how the hand moves, it makes your life a lot easier with this. The first thing that I like to do is to divide things into positions. So I'll actually end there and then move, 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 move. For some reason, going to there and then... and like trying to do it on the beat, as Mozart wrote, trying to organize your groups on those beats sometimes can get a little bit tricky because your hand, if you're starting from this second big beat of the measure, you're starting with a cross. Now that's actually good practice because you want to isolate your crosses. This is another good way to practice. You could go here. Getting into that next position, very helpful. The way the hand moves, I like to talk about 3 points of movement in the hand that are very natural to the hand. So you have doorknob turning rotation, you have up and down rotation, and then you have kind of this like waving rotation, like this windshield wiper rotation. I like to employ all 3 of those, and you can actually kind of draw little circles with the whole mechanism of the arm. So let me show you in slow motion. If you feel this little movement, it actually can keep the hand very quiet, meaning like it doesn't have to work so hard in the fingers. A great example of this is Xiang Jin Cho's recording. If you watch just right after he takes the repeat back to this first bar, his hand just looks like the wind. It's just so relaxed. Sorry, that was terrible. And it becomes very, very comfortable if you use those little bits of rotation as well. So again, I'm kind of coming up and around. And as I come up and around here, it's not just this type of rotation, but you're also using that doorknob turning rotation as well. So, and you can kind of come up with the wrist there as well. So do yourself a favor. Don't just try to play this with a still hand and isolate those fingers, because you'll usually end up extending the fingers and getting tight or over curling. I tend to overextend my fingers when I get tense. A lot of people pull theirs in. Both of them are not good. Now, that's not to say your hand always has to be in this perfect position, because you watch even the greatest pianists like Marc-Andre Hamelin playing some of the most difficult repertoire. A lot of times your pinky will be out, or your fourth finger will be out, but you don't want that to tighten and cause tension. So these bigger motions in the hand, can really alleviate that. Now, when we get to here, I practiced a lot, I remember when I was younger, lifting really high and really feeling that thumb rotation, because when you put it back together with this, these are just left and right rotations. Okay, and I like 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 2 1 2 2 1 1 1 1 1. Now, if you really want, you could use the thumb on all of those. By the way, the fingering here, I do like to share some fingerings. This piece isn't that difficult. The fingerings are going to be a labyrinth like some of the list etudes that I've just done tutorials on. But 3 2 3 5 3 2 1 2 3 5 3 2 1 2 3 5 3 2 1 2 3 5 3 2 1 2 3 5 3 1 5, all the way up to here. 2 1 2 1 1 1 1 1. They put in this Urtext edition, this is the Vienna Urtext, they put 2 2 2 1. I find that's a little too stretchy. Even I've got big hands, and I find that doing 2 5 like that, there are instances where I'll do things like that, but anytime I can, I will usually just keep the hand as compact as possible, because this is the natural position of the hand. If I'm just going on a walk, my arms are swinging, that's the natural position of the hand. It's not like that. And then what I want you to do is practice the left hand and this right hand moving line alone. And then, okay, now that's not going to come immediately. I remember I had to work on that, especially the voicing. Takes a little bit. I actually noticed that pulling my thumb in just slightly, I'm not like pulling it all the way over, but just pulling that in slightly gives me a little bit more edge to that voicing, rather than keeping it out and really flat like that. First of all, you might double hit a note, but just that little extra pulling in, that's just a tiny adjustment, really helps the hand to voice that out. And here, one thing, I actually took this to Sergei Babayan, and he said, you have to make sure that you always release cleanly on your rests. Off. You can't be casual with it, because it makes the sound tired. So, and then you could be really light. Another death trap is to accent the second note of your slurs. A lot of times, I have a young daughter, she's 5 years old, and she will, we'll be going over slurs. It's just the natural human instinct to, as you come up, to want to hit that harder. You have to allow that. So she and I and her mom have been, my wife, have been working on this. So... And I like that to be very joking and cute, almost taking a little time and then coming out of this. And then I just like to take a little bit of time there. Take time and be really sweet. Okay, now, I definitely like to do finger pedals. What that means is holding this down while the rest of these are really short. And by the way, the mechanism is rotating that way as you do these. It helps you get really light and stay loose. Okay, let's talk about appoggiaturas.